Hello everyone, you're now with me, Ruben Gomez, for TVS News at 5. Let's moving on to the news. Since the pandemic began, things have changed drastically on a daily and sometimes on an hourly basis. The COVID-19 pandemic, which has affected the world since early last year, has accelerated the growth of the digital economy in Malaysia. The government has identified the digital economy as one of the key economic growth areas to achieve national commitment of elevating the country to be a nation of sustainable growth. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said this will ensure fair and equitable distribution across income groups, ethnicities and regions.
We will drive forward the promise of shared prosperity for all by focusing on empowering Malaysians with digital skills, enabling digitally powered businesses, and driving digital investments.
The COVID-19 pandemic has given ASEAN member states the unanticipated nudge to move faster down the digital road. Undoubtedly, he said ASEAN has seen progress in the digital environment, although the level of advancement may differ from one member state to another, as well as between areas within each member state. ASEAN has to find ways to collectively mitigate cross-border cybercrime as it prepares to emerge as a competitive digital economic bloc in the post-COVID-19 period. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said the main challenge facing the regional grouping in the cybersphere is staying ahead in two principal areas: mitigating cybercrime and advancing the digital economy. Muhyiddin pointed out that Malaysia recognized the cross-border nature of cybercrimes and the challenges in bringing cyber criminals to justice, as this required a coordinated and integrated regional approach.
We must be mindful that cyber threats are rapidly changing and encroaching into every sphere of our lives, including how we communicate, how we work, how we conduct online transactions, how we carry out purchases, and even how we defend our national security. They have also become more sophisticated, complicated, and transboundary in nature. In this regard, ASEAN member states can no longer operate and work in isolation.
Muhyiddin said ASEAN itself has continuously discussed and expressed its support to the existing set of international rules, norms and principles of responsible behavior of states in cyberspace. Malaysia too is moving towards these security objectives with a comprehensive plan and strategy to provide a secure, trusted and resilient cyberspace. On a related matter, Muhyiddin pointed out that ASEAN member states could consider legislation on data privacy and users' rights that could be applied to any digital entity practicing in the region.
Welcome to the first ASEAN Digital Ministers Meeting, ADG Min 1 via teleconference, with the theme, ASEAN, a digitally connected community.
The first ASEAN Digital Ministers Meeting, ADG Min 1, seeks to strengthen cooperation among ASEAN member states towards building digital ecosystems as a pillar in the post-COVID-19 development plan. This is our united effort to develop the ASEAN community in the areas of cybersecurity, personal data protection, 5G, promoting innovations, and e-commerce.
Held from January 21st to January 22nd in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. ASEAN, a digitally connected community. The ASEAN Digital Master Plan 2025. It is our great pleasure and honor to welcome all ASEAN delegates to the first ASEAN Digital Ministers Meeting, ADG Min 1.
ASEAN member countries need to formulate policies to coordinate cross-border e-commerce regulations in order to encourage the development of a regional digital economy. CIMB ASEAN Research Institute Executive Director Juk Hee Hong said ASEAN's digital economy potential can be enhanced. However, that is if the ASEAN member countries embark on a comprehensive digital transformation and establish a fully digital community.
ASEAN perlu menggalakkan perkembangan infrastruktur digital yang mampu membantu perniagaan kecil sejajar dengan matlamat pemulihan ekonomi dan juga untuk menggalakkan pembangunan lestari dan pertumbuhan inklusif. Dan keduanya, mungkin pengdigitalan dari segi sistem kewangan dan pentadbiran awam. Ini melibatkan pengaktifan infrastruktur pembayaran digital untuk memudahkan aliran kewangan, termasuklah seperti perkhidmatan kewangan bebas sentuhan.
She said to realize the fully digital goal, Malaysia could play a role as the driver of a digital nation, which is the heart of the development of the digital economy in ASEAN. Apart from that, in order to bridge the digital skills in the region, the government also needs to update the training and education system. She further said this to produce a skilled workforce in the digital and information and communication technology fields.
Malaysia is committed to ensure a secure data flow in establishing an e-commerce ecosystem among ASEAN countries through initiatives under the ASEAN Digital Data Governance Framework.
Minister of Communications and Multimedia Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah said, in addition to the framework, Malaysia will also continue to support the Privacy Data Protection Forum and the development of Asian model contractual clauses. The country is also committed to promoting the development of professional cybersecurity certification programs for ASEAN in helping to create world-class cybersecurity personnel.
Cybersecurity Malaysia, an agency under the Ministry of Communications and Multimedia Malaysia, has established a local cybersecurity professional certification scheme known as the Global Accreditation Cybersecurity Education Scheme, or in short, Global ACE, which Malaysia would like to offer to ASEAN member states.
However, Saifuddin explains there is still a lot to be done to become a competitive and integrated digital economic bloc, especially when the world is still facing a COVID-19 pandemic crisis. He said while Asian countries find a footing in promoting economic recovery and transitioning to a new normal, the ASEAN's Digital Master Plan 2025 will steer the region through the next 5 years of digital development.
Welcome back. A total of 36 Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia SPM and Sijil Tinggi Persekolahan Malaysia STPM students in Sabah have been confirmed to be infected with COVID-19 so far. The cases were identified through screening tests done before students were allowed back to their dormitories to begin their lessons as preparation for their public examinations.
Sabah Local Government and Housing Minister Datuk Seri Masidi Manjun said the Sabah State Disaster Management Committee has provided internet service at every low-risk COVID-19 quarantine and treatment centre. This will facilitate students undergoing treatment and quarantine to follow their lessons online. Meanwhile, Masidi said it was too early to evaluate the effectiveness of the Movement Control Order enforcement in Sabah. He said that the true picture of whether the MCO enforcement was effective would only be known after 10 days of enforcement.
The public are advised to be wary of the existence of fraudulent tactics aimed at taking over users' WhatsApp accounts. The scammers used various tricks to deceive users to share a 6-digit verification code received from WhatsApp.
The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, in a statement, users who are deceived into sharing the verification code can cause their WhatsApp account to be taken over by a scammer. MCMC also urged users to be wary of WhatsApp 6-digit verification code requests from friends or family members or even others claiming to be WhatsApp employees, as well as other parties including authorities. It also advised users, in order to protect themselves from any possible criminal act, to lodge a report regarding the matter at the nearest police station. Reports can also be made to the MCMC's complaint portal channel.
Joe Biden, president, has seen the White House returning to the Democrats. Biden, sworn in as the 46th president of the United States, will definitely signal a win for global trade. Biden is more receptive to working with other countries than outgoing U.S. President Donald Trump is. Political analyst Jonathan Chai opines that what may be different for the US-China relationship under Biden's administration is the approach taken.
I believe Joe Biden will take a more practical and moderate approach in dealing with the trade war with China, especially in relation to the imposition of import duties. Any improvement in the bilateral trade between the two countries will definitely have positive knock-on effects for the global trade, including Malaysia.
Jonathan added that this would be beneficial to the wider supply chain networks, particularly for Malaysia and ASEAN.
Of course, if Joe Biden reverses Trump's early decision on TPPA, that is the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, this might boost regional and global trade, and that would also benefit countries like Malaysia.
Demand for gloves continued to be strong despite the availability of vaccines to curb the COVID-19 pandemic. Top Glove Corporation Berhad said its annual rubber glove production capacity had reached 91 billion pieces as at January 2021. Top Glove said its current annual production capacity had been achieved via collective output across the group's 36 glove factories out of the company's total of 47 factories. According to notes in Top Glove's latest presentation, production capacity expects to have an annual output capacity of 110 billion gloves by December 2021. The company said the 36 glove factories have a combined 762 equivalent single former lines to produce such a number of gloves in a year. Out of the 36 factories, 32 are located in Malaysia, 2 in Thailand, and 1 each in China and Vietnam. Well, that's conclude the news at 5 p.m. Ruben Gomez, anytime, anywhere.